Hey everybody, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. So finally back with another video. It's been a while. It's been very busy, so I wanted to kind of fit a full update in here because it has been a while. I figure I'd just do a full update on everything because my collection has shrunk a little bit. I did have some seedlings sort of keep declining after our freeze because the ones I had in the back of my truck with the C9 lights, the ones that weren't near the C9 lights, did not do very well. It only kept it maybe a few degrees warmer back there, and my greenhouse with the heat lamp worked much better. It did get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm figuring it only was a few degrees warmer, and the seedlings that were in the middle of the bed of the truck did pretty bad. So I lost some Texas Sable, Livistona chinensis, and a few of my Sable Bermudana even. So, but I'll go ahead and start over. I'll just go left to right here, make it easy. So over here I still have my smaller Washingtonia palms on this little table here, and I've just kept them here because they're out of the way and they seem to be doing okay. And besides a little discoloration on some of the older growth here, they're doing very well. And I think a lot of these are more Folifera dominant, but you know, I think most of them are hybrids. And I believe that's more of a Robusta there. And yeah, they're doing very well. I do also have a couple of the other volunteer seedlings I got on my Robusta pot a couple years ago, or about a year ago. These I think might also be the Phoenix Canariensis, like the one I had come up. And you know, I'm thinking those might be the only ones. This one's not doing all that great, but it's still hanging on. This one looks like it's doing better. And then the only other ones I have mixed in with the Washingtonia are my Sable Palmetto Lisa variation seedlings. Still doing very well, growing very slow. I still cannot tell if they are going to come out as the mutation or not. They look more palmetto-like right now. So, you know, it might take another year or two, but yeah, they're still doing very well. So Washingtonia, Sable Lisas, and the two volunteers doing really good. And I have a couple of empty pallets now because I am now down to one pallet of my Texas Sables. Like I said, I had to you know, some of these did not make it, and they were already weakened from their root obstruction, I guess, from the community pots a couple years ago. I let them go way too long, put too many seeds in the pots, and I had to really do some work to get the roots separated. And I think it kind of weakened them because their roots are fragile, and so I've learned not to put 200 seeds in a 1-gallon pot and then keep them like that for about a year. So that's a little lesson there. I'll put maybe 20, 25 now in a pot and take them out as soon as they start, you know, getting to a point where I can, you know, put them in their own pots. But yeah, lesson learned on that. I do plan on getting more of these seeds. These are pretty abundant down on the Gulf Coast, so I want to take another trip down there and start some from scratch again. And man, I need to really start weeding here. It's been getting rain the last couple days. We're getting thunderstorms tonight, so trying to fit this video in before that starts. Livistona chinensis also on one pallet, and you know, most of them, a lot of these I cut back, these ones that look empty, and most of their strap leaves were dead after the freeze, so those are the ones that didn't do so well. These right here, I think these are the ones along the border of the bed of my truck near the C9 lights, so I think they did okay. So just being a foot away, maybe a couple feet away from the heat source can really make a difference. And but I still have some more seeds of these that I can start, and so yeah, that's gonna be happening pretty soon. My 4 Butea Ordata silver seedlings looking really, really sad. And I'm not really sure what happened to these. They were doing okay for a while. This one here is probably the best looking one out of the 4, but a lot of these are really just not doing well. I believe 2 of the 4 of these had spear pulls now. And I'm just sort of letting them, I'm leaving them alone, trying to let them possibly recuperate. That needs a little more soil. Some of those roots are exposed there. But yeah, they really took a hit over the winter. They were doing pretty well there for a while. So, you know, I may end up having to just buy those as small palms instead of trying to grow them from seed. I have not had good luck over the years growing Butea seedlings. So, Sable Bermudana, these are the ones I was talking about. A few of them did not do very well. That one right there looks pretty sad. And a lot of burning on some of those strap leaves. So these were in the middle of the truck as well, away from the heat source, so they really saw some low temperatures. The larger one here is still doing really good, and a lot of these ones here on the right side are actually doing very well too. They're still doing good. So hopefully most of these survive. That one right there looks like it's not going to make it, but Sable Bermudana overall have done all right. Trachycarpus fortunei wagnerianus hybrids. Now these really have not been phased, and these were actually in the greenhouse as well. These are very cold hardy though. They probably would have done a little bit better in the back of the truck, honestly, but being in small pots, they just aren't as cold hardy and they're more sensitive as seedlings. So who knows? I'm kind of glad I did keep them in the greenhouse though, because these are my only hybridized palms I'm growing other than the Washingtonia. But these are definitely ones that I'm excited about growing. This one right here is not one of them. That's the Sable Casiarum, and it's doing quite well also. That was also in the greenhouse. So yep, looking good. Sable Casiarum there. And oof, man, the 2 Sable Minor and the 4 Sable Brazoria still looking really, really bad here. I'm probably gonna have to cut off a lot of this old growth. And spears are still doing okay. They're a little discolored, but they're still intact. No spear pull on this larger Sable Minor, but my Emerald Isle Giant I think is a goner. I mean, it is looking really, really bad. This one had a spear pull as well. I did use some hydrogen peroxide in the crown, but man, it's looking pretty bad. So still keep my fingers crossed on these. Some new seedlings. I have some silver saw palmetto that I started using the bagging method recently. More weeds. I gotta get all these out of there. But yeah, there's a few popping up here, and hopefully they'll be added to these 3. These are also silver saw palmetto. These are the ones I've been growing a little bit longer, but they've been very slow, and only 3 of them still have come up. There's more seeds in there, but haven't seen any new ones yet. Sable Minor, these are the dormant pots, still have not shown any signs of growth, so I don't know. I'm hoping that they eventually come out of it. Sable Birmingham seedlings, I still have 8 of them. No new ones have popped up since my last update on these, but looking really good. And then my 2 Sable Louisiana, getting a little bit bigger, but they're also very slow growing, so I'm hoping more of those pop up as well. There's other seeds in there of those. And then I've got some new Livistona chinensis seedlings coming up. I did collect some seed, and I put maybe 10 seeds in this pot, and I've got a few coming up there, and hoping to get more as the weather warms up. So yeah, I can add them to the roughed up ones that are right there. Larger Bismarckia. So this is the one Bismarckia that has not had any decline over the winter with the wet weather and the rain and stuff. I mean, that spear is still intact really well, not even slight signs of a spear pull. Whereas these 2 here both had spear pulls. And the older growth's still looking okay. This one right here, this frond is dying off. The crown is still empty, but still older growth is looking good. I'm still holding out hope that the new spears will pop up with some consistent weather and temperatures in the 90s. Once it gets in the 90s, usually that's when the spears start popping up after a spear pull here. But this frond is still looking pretty good, and still empty there in the crown, like I said. So still staying positive about these. I think they will bounce back. It's just going to take a lot more warmer, consistent weather. Large Washingtonia doing just fine, and just still popping out new fronds. Some old fronds dying off, but that's about it. Everything's still looking good with those. My smaller silver Bismarck seedlings, these actually held up pretty well considering how young they are and some of the conditions they have been through. It's been pretty wet, pretty cold, and they're hanging on pretty good. Some of this older growth is starting to discolor, starting to die off, but the new growth is looking really good. Trachycarpus fortunei, this is my larger windmill palm. Got this a couple years ago in Arkansas at a little roadside nursery, and it's still doing really well also. I will have to transplant that this year because it is growing fast and outgrowing this pot pretty well. And then I think I have a few more over here. Actually, I do have some community pots right here. I only have about 10 seeds in each pot. Some more Washingtonia foliifera. I'm hoping those pop up pretty soon. They're very easy to grow, very easy to germinate. That's one on the surface there. Put that down there. There we go. And then ones I've been wanting to grow for quite a while now. Brahea armata. This is known as the Mexican blue palm or blue Hesper palm. A lot of people use these as kind of a substitute for the Bismarck palm because they have very silvery fan fronds, and they're much more cold hardy, but they are more prone to drier climates. I don't know how well they do in more tropical climates, and we do get a lot of humidity and heat in the summer here. So it'll be interesting to see how these do, but definitely cold hardy to this climate here in zone 8. So these are probably going to be a little harder to germinate. They're a little slower growing. They're very slow growing actually, and I think it does take a while for the seeds to germinate. So hopefully those will come out soon. All right, the older Phoenix canariensis, this was the additional palm from the other two I showed you on the first table, and it's still doing really, really well. Still popping out its pinnate fronds now, and you know, a little discoloration like on many of the palms I have, but you know, new growth is looking really, really good. And then last but not least, Chamaerops humilis, the pair of Chamaerops humilis. Really unfazed. These have been pretty bulletproof for me through many conditions that we've had out here in Texas, and these fronds are starting to get their spines on them. So after a while, I'm gonna have to be careful with these, but you know, fan fronds are coming out and starting to look more like a Mediterranean fan palm or European fan palm, whatever you like to call it. And so yeah, pair of Chamaerops humilis doing very well. And for now, that's about it. And I do plan on growing more seeds here this year and replenishing some of the ones I've lost. 90% of these seedlings are my first attempt. So I've only been doing this 6 years now. And before that, I really didn't know much about palms, maybe a few different types of species. So I've learned a lot in 6 years, and I hope that my next batch, I'll be able to make the corrections I need, and I'll have a lot more seedlings to show you guys in the future. So looks like everything that I have right now is gonna serve, you know, hopefully survive. Warmer temperatures are here. The rain has started. I did have to mow my lawn already. So yeah, things are growing. So, but that's about it for this update. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.